Today we're going to take a look at an action figure that has probably the coolest instruction sheet to ever hit an action figure. Plus, a great looking box with box art that kind of makes you want to keep the box. This is Jessica Aster. What do we ask her? I don't know. So the thing is, this is clear, well, I shouldn't say clearing. AKA Gun Girl, most people call her, but I call her Bun Girl. This figure is built around the concept of, what's her name? Rebecca from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the animation, which is a great show, by the way, but this is also not really her, because she's like very short, almost childlike in height and looks. This is going to be a big full-scale figure that looks like this, which does have a little bit of that vibe, at least according to the artwork, but this is the deluxe version. And why do we buy the deluxe version? Also, look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about with instructions, baby. Great stuff. There's things on the bottom that, whatever. I ain't gonna read. I think I got time to read. No. So with the deluxe version, you basically get 2 complete figures. I mean, look at this. Why wouldn't you pay a little bit more, get more stuff, and get an extra body to do whatever you want? Build a custom figure, or just have 2 Jessicas running around. Because look, you got 2 head sculpts with hair, you got extra face plates, necks. You can do whatever you need to do. So let's get into it. I don't even know why I'm taking this instruction sheet out of this plastic, because you can clearly see right through the plastic. Whatever. Look at this. I mean, this is literally the best setup for stuff. Instructions. Downside is maybe it's not as clear as you would want it to be on how the heck they mean to do for this to work, because it is just a rough sketch, and it's not like this is literally telling you the thing with the thing. It's just saying find a thing that this kind of looks like and put it here. So we will have to probably reference this a lot. Put it back in the plastic for safe keepings. Yes, there. See, we didn't need to remove it at all. Not even for the sake of video. Oh well. We're gonna look at the main figure and then come back to this second tray that makes it deluxe. You know, I just can't look at all of it at once, so I'm just making a choice. Now, for a lot of you, you may have seen this get reviewed elsewhere on the internet. The downside to buying this from 5K Toys was that they were really behind getting it out, but they also sent out the proper version. The stuff that got out months ago had QC issues. I don't know what those issues were, but they apparently fixed it. So it's okay. As always, if I can find some links to give you to buy this thing, yeah, I'll do that. Isn't that nice? Right off the bat, you get a bunch of extra pegs for necks and hands or wrists or whatever it is. Ankles? Probably not necks. Maybe necks? I don't know. This is definitely a neck peg right there. And then you get a couple of arms. Those are arms? Yes. 4 arms. For something. Plus, you get a bunch of alternative tops. So depending on the styling choices, I mean, there's not a lot to cover up much at all. Here, is there? You got a strapless top. You got this alternatively styled strap top. This is all going to be hard to work with. It's a rubberized material. You get a new bottom piece, and then you get this one that has some extra stuff, a little bit more cheek coverage, I suppose, and then another one of these. I don't know that there's a lot of visual difference. We'll find out, or we won't. A good amount of accessories just in this first tier. Obviously some stuff we already looked at, but we have gun parts, so let's just get into it. Oh, hello. We have this blaster part. I don't know nothing about nothing, okay? The paint looks good. The details of the sculpt are fantastic. Super cool, and of course you can combine it in some form or fashion, as we saw from the very cute instruction sheet. And in this thing, which basically just looks like a nail gun. Pretty cool though. Then you get this belt piece, which has got plenty of pouches to carry all of your good things from the future, such as credits? What did they use? I don't know. We get a little buckle. That's cool, so you can take it on and off, no problem. And then this is a holster for this, which is definitely a very cyberpunk styled gun. Then you get a couple of these hands, which look like, I'm guessing, some sort of trigger finger, but it's not on the trigger. So they're just little grippies of some sort. One of my favorite features, which is this thing, is to move the eyeballs. So I'm very happy to see that. And finally, you get this jacket, which has a little bit of yellow on it, I'm sure. Well, it's like iridescent, so that's kind of neat. And I bet this glows under a black light, if I were to guess. And then there's a wire going all the way through the edges here. But this nice quilted pattern, very lovely, very much indeed. Now, it has pocket outlines, I guess, but there are no functioning pockets, which, you know, is okay. But sometimes that happens on these things. I'm talking about a jacket too long. Let's move on to the base, which is this. It's very simple, okay? This is, they really just kind of leaned in and pretended as if it's their own idea, but it's not. It's a Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And you get this very lovely claw that has a bendy wire. It's a nice metal, tough, can handle whatever you send its way. Cool. That's fun. On to the main figure. We're figure number 1, I guess you could say. How do you want to talk about this, folks? I don't know, okay? So we'll just start at the top. Kind of makes a lot of logical sense. I hate making logical sense. I mean, look, this is pretty fantastic. I gotta admit that the paint, like the lip paint alone? Hello? Can I do this? The paint on the face really is fantastic. Now, she's very pale, but that's much like the cartoon or animation, I guess, that she is inspired by. This is really, really well done. And I'm very excited to finally have this thing. It has been a long time coming. We have some articulation on the hair pieces, which is cool. Thankful for that. We got a very long neck peg, which should help with, oh boy, look at that articulation. That's insanity. And then of course she's got this mechanical, biometric, whatever, what do you want to call this? Robotic neck, which can be swapped out. We saw that part earlier. She's got these tiny little shoulder blade pieces, which are there to help hide the hopefully fantastic butterfly joints that are going on here. Look at that. Good God. That is absolute insanity. But this is a very nicely sculpted setup to hide some joints, but still have some great range. We got some rotation up there. You got double jointed elbows as expected. And then the coolest thing about these little robot hands, besides their really cool concept with paint and sculpt and stuff, this, oh, there's like a little handle. I don't think it's going to lift, so be very careful. But these all articulate, which is really fun. So we have some thumb articulation, finger articulation. I'm sure you gotta like really mess with this thing to get it to work properly. They're not super tight, so there may be some issues with holding things as they are, but it does look like there's this little cut here to maybe potentially help hold weapons and things. And of course the same thing on the other side, so we don't need to look at that as well. Body articulation, so there's actually some kind of wild setup here with the back and the body. Now this is Romankey, and if you're not familiar with Romankey, they are Romankey? How do you want to say that? How do you say their name? Type it out down in the chat. And then it just, you know, it's just spelled. Body articulation is going to be fantastic because this brand definitely knows how to do that. Now, there are several things from this brand that are in the works that you may be looking at right now on the screen like this. Wow! Get one of those while you can. Oops, the finger fell off. But just, I mean, goodness sakes. There's like a lot of cuts, but I think it's for the best, especially if you take like the extra body and decide to just put some soft goods on it and have just a very, very highly articulated action figure, which, who doesn't want that? And yes, of course, she is what we call caked up. What's that mean? This thumb does pop off a lot. A little bit of a bummer to see that happening basically as soon as I move anything. Anyway, yes, does she work out? The answer we already know. We can see that clearly. Ankles are actually doing pretty well considering these like really thick boot shoes, but they're cut out really well to allow for firm arm articulation and toe articulation. Gosh, I just kind of lost all my energy. This is actually a really nice way to do the articulation. They've sculpted in the piece that would be hidden, and normally it's just like a smooth piece of plastic from other brands, but this they've actually considered trying to help photographers. So if this is all you got, is it worth it? Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, the articulation feels very solid. It feels very high level of range and stuff, so I'm super excited. And if you don't like all these tattoo things, well, guess what? That's what this other piece was that you saw earlier, so you didn't even have to guess. You already knew the answer. All right, we have moved on to the second tier of goodies, and you can see she's clothed up as well. And I think these are similar tops to what we saw in that other pile. I don't know, there's just subtle changes. Now we're getting into some of the really fun things. So let's get through the boring stuff, which isn't even really that boring. On by default, she's got these kind of grippy hands, which I'm guessing are used for whatever you want, but also for the handles of this gigantic gun. My God, let's just look at this thing because it's gorgeous. There's like speckled paint for the gray, which actually gives it a lot of life. There's this silver that has a lot of edge work to look a little scuffed up, and there's just so many mechanical bits and pieces that are going Look, there's that piece that locks into the hand, so I was right. I'm a smart boy with my big time brain. And then you got this piece, which I think we kind of saw from the sketches. I don't know what it is. We're really gonna have to look at that. Clearly something to do with something. Do you imagine that? Now this one also has the robotic mechanical neck thing. Neck peg is visible. Maybe we don't want this because she's got this lovely body without the tattoos. So let's see what it takes. Oh, that was easy. That was very, very easy. Now, is this gonna be easy? Yes. Okay, great. I like it when everything just works. You will likely want to heat up the neck joint in here to get the ball peg to snap in, but it only takes a few seconds of a hairdryer and you're good to go. Now, as far as articulation, obviously she's going to be basically the same thing, but the difference now is we're seeing the wrist pegs, which are pretty standard, and then these little tootsies. So she's got her feet out, no boots, so, you know, you freaks can be a little happy. Now, we have this alternate hairpiece, which does look pretty good. It has a little bit of articulation, so it should certainly help with range and articulating, but I don't know how well we're gonna get that. We have alternate face plates in the box. This is the one I'm talking about. This has so much character to it, and she's got little tiny vampire teeth, like on the bottom, little cat teeth, whatever you want to call them. Vampires have them on the top. I know that. But the details here are fantastic. Nice paint work, a little bit of pink around the eyes and stuff to give it a little bit more life. And then this one where she's total psycho. Look at those eyes. She's gone full cybonetric. The only downside is there's no like face without the lines in it. So if you don't like this, you're gonna have to find some alternative, and that's either some other Romankey body, or maybe there's something out there that can be swapped around onto the neck joints. Now, these are the eye sockets that you can take this tool, well, if I can get it to, there's not a lot of room to play in there, but you can see how they actually move very smoothly, so she can be like total cuckoo, ka-choo, or maybe she just likes you a lot. Anyway, let's move on. Once you get everything swapped around, you definitely want to heat up the base of the head and the neck so that that peg can go in just fine. But this is a fantastic setup so far. I mean, I'm very satisfied with this. Now, the articulation of this hair actually is more than I thought it was. It seems that maybe just it needed to be messed with a little bit more, but it's pretty cool. And again, you have options. So if you want this set or this set. Obviously, downside to this one is these like robotic pieces, which are basically permanent. Alternate hands in the box, you got these just kind of very strange posing hands. I don't know what you would do with those. And you got these open hands, which the thumbs do look super weird on, but good in hand to like pose and like, jumping off of something or whatever. And you get these little, I don't know, hands, little pinchy hands. Maybe these are to hold something in particular, but I don't know what. Are these like little heart hands? No, they're a little different than that thing. I guess you can kind of make it work. You get a good set of relaxed hands or kind of holding something. And you get a couple of punching hands, which actually look pretty good. Maybe the thumb's a little weird, but that can be overlooked. Now, this big gun thing, I think might be our biggest challenge to get her to hold that. Maybe you need to use those robot hands because of this piece, but you know what? We'll do all of the extra footage to figure out if I'm an idiot. So here she is with the big gun, some small guns, one gun, no guns. Now, the jacket is pretty cool. Downside of the jacket is that it doesn't work that well with the hair down, so you definitely want to use the other head. The wire that goes all the way around the collar and down the sides works really well, and then you do have the elastic around the sleeves, I think. or it just kind of feels that way, but you can actually like push them up and go this route, which I really think is a nice touch because it just adds a little bit more character and style to this design, I guess. Whatever. Style and character to this design. Words are hard. If you're curious what she looked like with David's jacket on from Jada Toys, it actually kind of works. I mean, it seems oversized for her, which is good, kind of helps scale her down a little bit, but obviously it's still too tall to actually go with your Jada Toys figures if you're trying to do a placeholder, but I don't know. I guess a downside too is that neither of her jackets can go around these, which would be more show accurate, but it's a cool alternative look nonetheless. Now, one of the other most important things when you do a figure like this that could be potentially used for a custom is to find out if you can. And maybe we can figure that out. I don't know. This is the hardest part sometimes. The scale of figures like this. A lot of the third-party stuff, they go very large with the scale. But it's all relative. Obviously, it's not large for Marvel Legends and things like that, but in the 1/12 scale realm, these things are usually pretty tall. Now we gotta do some size comparisons. So up first, you got Daima Goku, Snail Shell, Metal Slug, NECA Turtles, Jada Toys Cyberpunk, and of course, our boy Bert. So for an example, God. As an example, this is the crazy figure body that this custom Momo is using, and they're just about the same height. So even if we could swap this head over, which I don't know, maybe we can, you cannot. The neck peg joints are different sizes, you would need something custom, so there's not a way to do this, but it's a good potential base body if you're trying to do this. Then we have a snail shell body, which again, about the same height. Maybe this is a little taller with that neck. Not really compatible, and it makes her head look really tiny to this body. Speaking of Cyberpunk, you could get your Lucy and compare that, and you can see that there's a huge difference in the builds of these bodies. So that's not gonna work. Ball pegs are different sizes as well, but if you could get a custom one, you can see, again, her head looks very small on this body. Toonshi Studios, the Metal Slug girls, this actually might be a good visual fit, but there's no way to get these necks over. No. Nothing's working so far. And this is a Husky figure that tends to have a lot of issues keeping her shirt on. So let's just remove the head. Doesn't work either. Okay. Well, I don't know. Let me know if you know, because I don't know, of any customs that use these bodies that have done the head swaps that actually look right. And obviously with enough soft good options out there, you could build pretty much anything with the body. You just need the head to work. If you enjoyed this and you want to see some more stuff get reviewed, then click the top link there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.